Welcome to another video. It was white to move. White saw that this rook here would be nice to get for free. White also saw that this bishop could take that bishop. White chose to take the rook. White was thinking, well, if I do take the rook and he takes my bishop with his bishop, then white can recapture, and that if the queen comes over and says check, he can just come down here and block. Okay, black could take, and then there's that, leaving white with two rooks and a knight, and black with a rook, a knight, and a bishop. But let's see what actually happened. White takes the rook, black takes the bishop, white recaptures, then black takes the white bishop. Now here's the problem. White cannot take that bishop because he's pinned by the queen. So what does white do? White moves the pawn up. Now what does black do? Black moves the bishop there. It's funny, you would think that black would bring the queen here and say check. What would white do then? Well, if so, then white could come here. And you see he's protected by the knight. So black chose not to do that. When white moved a pawn up, black moved the bishop there. And now it's looking like this queen is in big trouble. He can't take the knight because of the rook. He can't take the pawn because of the queen. And if he takes the bishop, the queen takes him. And this is what happened in the game. So what did white do? Well, white decided to attack the queen. Where'd the queen go? Queen went over there, and it gave the white queen an escape. So at this point, white has a queen, two rooks, and a knight, and black has a queen, a rook, a knight, and a bishop. But that's a lot of complication. And black wasn't making the best moves. Let's go back. White takes the rook. Now after doing that, let's see what the computer suggests that white should do. Take. Recommends white takes. Now what black did was, wow, following the computer, well, what did white do? White moves the pawn up. So white made a mistake there. Was that move what the computer recommends? No. Computer recommends black did this. And so then the computer's recommending block with the queen. White just loses the queen and is not looking good. So if black was playing perfectly after white captures that rook, then white is in big trouble if black plays perfectly. So what would have been a better move? Well, look, the computer says to just take the bishop. If white just takes the bishop, if the queen takes the bishop, queen's gone. So that's no good. So let's say free bishop, and the computer's saying black should go right here. But you don't know what a human would do. But let's see if black followed the computer suggestion and went here. Okay, and then white takes the black queen. And of course he's going to recapture. Okay, in that scenario, when white came and got that bishop, that's a free bishop. Now you've traded queens, you're still up a piece. And look whose turn it is. It's white's turn. Now it's suggesting that white captured this bishop. And instead of recapturing, it's suggesting that the rook move here. And then if white castles, he loses his bishop that way, but he's got two rooks, a bishop, and a knight against two rooks and a knight. So let's just go back to that scenario. Now what if, now the computer is recommending that the bishop take the bishop, but let's turn that off. What if white were to say, look, I'm willing to trade my bishop for a rook? Now, what would be the computer's recommended response? Okay, instead of taking this bishop, it's recommending this. Okay, then of course this guy wants to get out of the way. Now in this scenario, it's two rooks, a knight and a bishop against a rook, a knight and a bishop. Now this is later in the game. Let's look and see what happened. Black comes over and puts the white king in check. See, black has a queen, a rook, and a knight. And white has a queen and two rooks. White has 6 pawns, black has 3, and where black has a knight, white has a rook. So white is clearly better. So black is thinking, perpetual check if I can. He puts the white king in check, king moves out of the way, he puts the king in check again, king moves, check again, and no matter what white does, he's perpetual check, and eventually it's a draw. Now, is there a way that white could have stopped that? Let's go back. The computer recommends that. And had white done that, what would the computer recommend? Okay, it's just recommending that black move the queen here, which temporarily gets white out of that pickle. But what might a human being do? A human might say, I'm just going to take that pawn, put the king in check again. And in that scenario, the computer recommends king here. Now the black queen has no move that checks the white king. Of course, he can take this pawn, and the game can continue. Had white just moved this pawn up when black put him in check, it would have stopped that perpetual check. A little simple move like that. All right, well, thank you for watching. Have a good evening.